Worried about gout? Check out Ural, the effective urinary alkalinizer. Ural, neutralize your uric acid problem now.
Welcome to Kini News. I'm your host Prasad. Muda has called on the authorities to discharge their duties fairly after their candidate was slapped with a 1,000 ringgit compound for fist bumping a supporter.
The Health Ministry tracked down Muda's Bukit Permai candidate, Azrol to slap him with a 1,000 ringgit fine after receiving a complaint based on an Instagram video showing him doing a fist bump. Speaking at a press conference, Azrol said the video showed him doing a fist bump with a supporter outside the Bukit Permai nomination centre. A few hours later, health authorities had tracked him down to slap him with the compound. Azrol apologised to the Health Ministry for the fist bump. The compound, under the Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Act, stated that Azrol had failed to abide by social distancing rules with the fist bump. However, Azrol's campaign manager, Amos Tien, emphasized the video showed their candidate immediately stood apart after the fist bump and maintained social distance.
Kenapa pemimpin-pemimpin boleh pemimpin-pemimpin daripada parti lain boleh berkumpul beramai-ramai dan tiada tindakan diambil ke atas mereka. So saya harap pihak-pihak yang berkuasa sila buat tugas dengan adil because this is unfair to us. We have been following the SOP. We have been following the rules being set by the officials, but with this, we also being compounded 1,000 ringgit.
Meanwhile, Muda Information Chief Lukman Long said he had gone through the SOPs for the Johor polls, but there was nothing about a ban on fist bumps.
Teresa Kok's decision to click on an ad in Parliament has turned into political ammo, with many accusing her of online shopping. DAP lawmaker Teresa Kok has been accused by her critics of online shopping while in Parliament. Former Wangsa Maju MP Wee Chu Keong shared a photograph of Kok's computer screen on Twitter while she was in Parliament. Her computer screen at the time apparently displayed pictures of clothing. This was later also circulated by former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak on Facebook. Speaking to Malaysia Kini, she explained that while she was reading news on two portals, she saw an advertisement. She said she then clicked on the ad before backing out to continue reading the news. According to her, the ad appeared on both Free Malaysia Today and Malaysia Kini. She also said V and Najib appeared to have nothing better to do and are trying to find the issues. She then showed a copy of the advertisement on the websites. Today is the first day of the Parliament sitting for this year. The country's largest Chinese independent school's decision to invite Najib Abdul Razak is sending the wrong message to children, says Tony Phua.
Damansara MP Tony Phua has slammed the Funu High School Board of Governors for welcoming convicted former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak. In a statement, Tony described it as a screwed-up state in society. He said the school board was setting the worst possible example for its students by telling them in no uncertain terms that it is okay to cheat, to lie, to steal, to abuse power, and to bully the helpless, as long as one is rich and powerful. Phua was one of the people who actively highlighted the discrepancies in 1MDB before it was eventually exposed globally as a case of kleptocracy at its worst. Funu High School, the country's largest Chinese independent school, welcomed Najib, who was convicted of criminal breach of trust, money laundering, and abuse of power in relation to 42 million ringgit belonging to SRC International. Phua said the school's leadership should be removed for failing to set an upright example for the young and innocent children. Funu High School chairperson Tay Chin Hain claimed the visit was at Najib's request, and the school was grateful for his past deeds and did not want to create a misunderstanding. However, Najib yesterday claimed he was invited there.
Khairi Jamaluddin, like many other ministers, have been in Johor a lot recently, and according to him, he's not abusing government machinery to campaign in the state.
Several ministers appear to have a sudden urge to conduct working visits to Johor. This comes as campaigning began for the state polls. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin, in a vest that carried the Health Ministry logo and the words Kementerian Kesihatan on his back, visited a number of health clinics. He also dropped by BN Election Operations Centre in the state seat of Layang Layang in central Johor. Khairi was joined by Johor Health Director Dr. Aman Rabu and BN candidate for the Layang Layang state seat Abdul Muttalib Abdul Rahim. Khairi even introduced the candidate to several staff members. Some in his entourage also sported a blue BN cap. During a visit to the staff housing inside the clinic compound, Khairi greeted several occupants, including a nurse whom he told, "Look at the flags when you go out and make a wise decision," before he and Muttalib burst into laughter. After concluding his visit at the clinic, Khairi then headed to Layang Layang BN operations room nearby, where he had lunch with party members and delivered a speech in support of Muttalib. Then, the minister had changed to a BN vest and wore a Keluarga Malaysia cap during the event. When asked about the visits later during his press conference, Khairi denied that it was an abuse of government machinery for campaigning. Khairi said it was fair for him to take time off during the campaign trail to detour to Health Ministry facilities. Even before campaigning officially began on Saturday, several ministers had been conducting whirlwind visits across Johor on the grounds of a working visit. Communications and Multimedia Minister Anwar Musa, for example, visited Felda Pasak in Kota Tinggi to Felda Bukit Batu in Kulai 2 days before nomination. Housing and Local Government Minister Riza Naina Merikan visited the project site of the Masai People's Housing Project and the Sendana Flats in Pasir Gudang, Johor, which are under his ministerial jurisdiction.
Do Malaysians really enjoy the company of Najib Abdul Razak, or do they just enjoy the spectacle of witnessing the circus up close? That's the question on one lawmaker's mind.
Is former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak getting more popular with the Chinese community? According to Kapong MP Lim Lip Eng, the warm welcome Najib received at a food court in Perling, Johor may not be indicative of political support. He said when the people in that food court flocked to Najib for pictures, they were mostly amused that they saw a disgraced politician. Lim noted that Najib was once so unreachable, now suddenly too accessible. He added that people took pictures not to boast about who they were voting for, but to show their grandchildren that an ex-prime minister once walked into a food court in Johor, where he was used as a mere photo op. Lim said that whether Najib's hearty welcome will translate into votes at the Johor polls on March 12 remains to be seen. Lim also compared people's reaction to Najib with that of O.J. Simpson. He said 25 years after the former football player was found liable for the killings of his former wife and her friend, he remains a celebrity to many. Simpson was not convicted on criminal charges, but found liable in a civil suit for the killings. He later served 9 years in jail from 2008 to 2017 on unrelated charges.
Malaysia could end up in the same situation as Ukraine if it doesn't respond to regular encroachments into its territorial waters, a former minister has warned.
Former Foreign Affairs Minister Anifa Aman has warned that if Malaysia does not check regular encroachments into its territorial waters, it could one day find itself in the same boat as Ukraine. Ukraine is currently being invaded by Russia. In a statement, Anifa said the government should take a firmer stance in urging all parties involved in the Ukraine-Russia conflict to stop their aggression. He added that Malaysia should stand firm on its sentiment on this issue and take action to stop the aggression. Anifa explained this is because with the geopolitical issues surrounding Malaysian waters, with trespass after trespass by a big supernation to the east, the country could very well be in the same shoes as Ukraine. While Anifa did not name the super nation, it's worth noting that on October 4th last year, the Foreign Ministry said it summoned Chinese Ambassador Ouyang Yujing to protest against the presence and activities of Chinese vessels in Malaysian waters. Putrajaya called this activity inconsistent with Malaysia's Exclusive Economic Zone Act, as well as the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The statement from the Foreign Ministry added that Malaysia also protested against previous encroachments by other foreign vessels into our waters.
It's been a tough couple of days for states in the East Coast, with floods displacing thousands.
The number of flood victims in Terengganu and Kelantan rose to over 19,000 this morning. They have been evacuated to relief centers in the two states. The Drainage and Irrigation Department website reported that 6 rivers were still at a dangerous level. The 6 rivers are Sungai Kemaman and Sungai Tebak in Kemaman, Sungai Nerus, Sungai Telemong, Sungai Dungun, and Sungai Terengganu. However, the Terengganu Disaster Management Committee Secretariat said the weather in most districts in the state were forecast to be good this morning. Meanwhile, in Kelantan, the JPS portal reported that 3 major rivers in Kelantan were at a dangerous level. A 13-year-old boy became the second flood fatality in Kelantan after he was found drowned yesterday. Kelantan Deputy Police Chief Muhammad Zaki Harun said the victim, Muhammad Fazli Tamri, a student of SMK Kubang Kiat, was believed to have been riding his bicycle with his friends before skidding and falling into a canal in Kampong Talang.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Prasad. Thank you for watching.